About an incident that is occurring, a horrible incident in our country, and then we're going to begin our conversation. But before I begin, I do want to talk about what happened in Georgia, in Atlanta. It is tragic. Our country, the President and I, and all of us, we grieve for the loss. Our prayers are extended to the families of those who have been killed. And it speaks to a larger issue, which is the issue of violence in our country and what we must do to never tolerate it and to always speak out against it. The investigation is ongoing. We don't yet know, we're not yet clear about the motive. But I do want to say to our Asian American community that we stand with you and understand how this has frightened and shocked and outraged all people, but knowing the increasing level of hate crime against our Asian American brothers and sisters, we also want to speak out in solidarity with them and acknowledge that none of us should ever be silent in the face of any form of hate. And with that, I am very excited to speak with the Taoiseach and to meet you this morning. Good morning. I am Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, and very much looking forward to our conversation. And happy St. Patrick's Day on behalf of our country. As you know, our country has a long history of friendship, of shared values and culture and experiences with the people of Ireland. And I was very excited of the many responsibilities that I will perform as Vice President to, at the beginning of my service as Vice President, do and be a part of this tradition. Only wish that it were in person, but we can hope for next year that we will share a good breakfast together. But I do welcome you, and I will tell you that our commitment to Ireland remains steadfast and strong. In the midst of global freedoms being in decline, our nations remain close because we are committed to democracy. At a time when there are threats to not only global health, but our climate and security, our nations remain committed as partners in solidarity to the importance of fighting for human dignity. On behalf of the President, I would like to thank Ireland for advancing our shared values as a member of the United Nations Security Council, and also thank you for our robust economic partnership. As you may know, I hail from California, where we take great pride in what we have created around technology, and have great admiration for the work that you are doing in Ireland and the partnership that we share. And we also thank you for the support of, currently I'm told we have 300,000 American jobs, and of course the support of the tens of thousands of jobs in Ireland, and the investment that we share in each other and our economic prosperity. And we are of course hopeful to create more jobs as we continue to strengthen our partnership. And next year, as I said, I look forward to meeting with you over breakfast, but for now we'll make this work, and I look forward to our conversation. And again, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone and to you.
Thank you. And first of all, Madam Vice President, I would like to express my condolences to you and to the American people and to the families of those bereaved and families of those killed and injured in the terrible shootings in Atlanta. And be sure of our solidarity of all of the people of Ireland and indeed the entire world at this attack on the Asian American community. And I join with you in saying we have to consistently and constantly speak out about this type of mindless violence in our midst. Madam President, Vice President, in November 1990, 30 years to the day before your recent election, Ireland elected our first woman president, Mary Robinson. And in her inauguration speech, she famously remarked that she had been elected by the women of Ireland, who instead of rocking the cradle, rocked the system.
Oh, that's good.
Setting out her vision for the office, she quoted her friend, the brilliant Irish poet and Stanford professor, Evan Boland, yes, observing that she was determined to write women who had been outside of history and back into it. So alongside President Biden, your own election, Madam and Vice President, has written history at many levels.
Thank you.
As you have said, you may be the first woman in your role, but you will not be the last. And
Indeed.
I hope, Madam Vice President, that I will have the opportunity to welcome you to Ireland too during your time as Vice President. You will be most welcome.
Thank you.
You know the ties between our nations are rich and they are deep. The grass on the flag of your own home state of California, on which that famous grizzly bear prowls, is officially an Irish green, testament to the immigrants who helped build the Golden State.
Absolutely.
And one of them was Kate Kennedy of Meath, and she led the Equal Pay for Equal Work campaign of 1874, which successfully lobbied the Californian legislature to provide female teachers the same pay as their male counterparts. And in 1886, she was then the first woman in California to run for statewide office. Now, she didn't win any more than the fight for equal pay was won at that time.
Yes.
But she put both ideas on the agenda. She changed the playbook. And earlier this week, mindful of your comments, I had cause to congratulate two other Irish immigrants to California, Patrick and John Collison. I first encountered Patrick Collison when aged 16. He won Ireland's Young Scientist exhibition, and he moved to California some years later with his equally brilliant brother John, and together they founded their company Stripe. This week, it was declared the most valuable startup in America. It now has dual headquarters in Dublin and San Francisco,
Yes.
an exemplar of the deep and mutually beneficial, mutually inspiring ties between our two nations. Madam Vice President, I look forward to discussing these ties with you this morning, and I also look forward to meeting some brilliant young people with you later, the first class of Frederick Douglass Global Fellows to visit Ireland, following in the footsteps of the great abolitionist 175 years ago. I look forward to our discussions, but most of all, I'm delighted to have this opportunity to get to know you and to wish you a very, very happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. And if I may, on the Frederick Douglass, I actually have a bust. I don't know if you can see it, but my alma mater is Howard University here in Washington, D.C., and they have shared with us this bust of Frederick Douglass, who, as you know, famously said, and I'll paraphrase, but the first time he was treated as a full man with dignity was his trip to Ireland. And later today, you and I will join with the students who will be visiting Ireland, these African-American students, in the spirit of Frederick Douglass and in the name of Frederick Douglass. So thank you, Taoiseach, for that.
Yeah, it was quite an extraordinary journey for its time
Yes.
and visit. And I went to an exhibition recently on Frederick Douglass' time in Ireland and in my own home city as well, in Cork. And it struck me the degree to which he was actually received in Ireland in such a warm and friendly way.
Yes.
And of course, he got to meet the great liberator, Daniel O'Connell,
Yes.
as well, who inspired him a lot. And I think it demonstrates how far back we had so much in common in terms of values and approach to the world.
Absolutely.